All right, so some will help. Shit. Someone will give me shit about recording in vertical, but I really don't give a shit. This is for the specific purpose of showing, or not really showing, but dispelling the myth of gas rings and their alignment. So I'm going to start by pulling the pin, rotating this bad boy. Always gives me trouble. Well, if I didn't pull the pin first, maybe it would rotate. Jeez. There we go. Let's pull that bad boy out. She's a bit slippery, Captain. She's a bit slippery. I know it's out of frame. Just pulling this damn thing out. Give me a second. Boy, she's giving me trouble today. I wonder why. She's never given me this much trouble before. Come on. That is the strangest thing. All right, so we pulled the bolt out, and let's see if we can get it to, there you go. So as you can see, the rings do not align. Here's a fun fact, and not many people know this because not a lot of people pay attention how these gas rings work. So a lot of people will say that if these gas rings are aligned, yes, I'm using the pin, the firing pin. No, don't worry, I have like 15 others on standby just in case. Anyways, let me show you the side. You see how those gas rings stick out if I push on the bottom? That's because they're meant to be springy. This is spring steel. This spring steel, what it does is that it expands once it's set in place. However, when you squeeze it, which is what it would do inside that chamber there, it squeezes just enough. That way it creates a seal, which is why I have that pair of pliers. That's the reason I brought it. All right, so here we go. Come on, you. I don't want to curse. I'm trying to be child friendly here. Okay. Aligned, yeah? Put the firing pin in there. Boom. By all accounts, everybody that says the gap is not a myth will tell you that this is incorrect, that you need to make sure there's a gap there. However, if you notice, those rings are really far from the center. See how they stick out? They don't stick out like that inside the chamber. Here's a neat little trick I'm going to show you, which is the reason why I have pliers. And I know I keep coming out of focus. I also have piston rings, so it's, or piston rings, jeez. Gas rings, so don't stress over the fact that I'm using pliers on them. If need be, I can switch them out. Okay, now I'm pushing at the bottom so that it creates the, you know, so-called effect of press against the chamber. Now, when you press these rings together, look what happens. Let me get out of the way so we can get some more light. That gap closes. Now, mind you, I'm not even pressing the top. If the top of these rings is pressed, these holes would seal even more. Something close to this. See? Now, just that little offset that you see there on the furthest right ring, that little offset, just this little bit, will cause enough of a drag reduction in the gases flowing through where they cannot flow freely. That restriction, not drag reduction, I think restriction is more adequate of a word. That restriction right there, and mind my dirty ass hands, and anyways, that reduction in size will cause the gases to work even harder to get around. Out of focus again. There we go. So in theory, these rings are super squeezed in there like that. As soon as you fire the rifle, these rings are going to move out of the way. You're immediately going to see that these things go out of whack. Now, I could show you that. It's not that very hard because it needs to go inside. There it is. I should turn on the flashlight maybe. It's too late. I'm already recording. So you can see the gas rings are pretty much aligned. See them there? Pardon me, a bit of the sniffles, allergies. All right, almost aligned. Putting it into the chamber. Notice the amount of friction that it causes trying to get that pushed through. All right, so I'm gonna give it a bump. Off camera, of course. There we go. All right, that's in. All right, those rings are now mated with the chamber inside. Now, if I pull it slowly and I rotate it so I can see where the gas rings are, notice one of those rings has already moved off the top. If I do it again, these rings will move. So already there, with just one cycle, those rings were almost, that first ring on the left side was already out of the way. With one or two more cycles, again, these rings close. Again, if you put the amount of pressure that it would have inside that chamber, notice that those gas rings are already sealed. This gap myth, I don't understand where it came from. I understand that the manufacturer said, you know, make sure you rotate those rings, but it's just to make sure that there are no issues, you know, just preventive, just in case, you know, just like you check your tire pressures and you know, things that you do in your home or in your job, with your rifle, you know, preventive. It's not meant to avoid any issues. It's meant to prevent. Now, let me go ahead and put this back together. There we go. Rotate this bad boy. I have someone that I know that told me that too much lubrication is bad for your rifle, but that it attracts a lot of dirt. But my first instance of using my rifle and immediately cleaning it, all I had to do was wipe it down. Come on, pen. Anyways, that's the end of the video. You get my point. It's rings. It's all a big giant myth. I don't understand where it came from. I don't care to understand where it came from. I just know that it's a bunch of bullshit. and I was trying not to curse, but it's just the fallacy of everything. It's just silly. I don't understand why people have to get into argument battles about, there you go, about those stupid gas rings when in fact it's not going to be an issue. On that note, if you have any suggestions for videos, comments, concerns, feel free to let me know. I'm always looking to make content. I don't post much, but I'm willing to post more if more people watch. Have a good day.